Hello and welcome again to Not Fake News. Don't forget to share, subscribe, smash that like button. Wait a cotton picking minute. There we go. Obama and Hillary failed America. They can't be trusted. Share equals agree. Hillary for prison. Yeah. We have a bunch of breaking stories for you today, folks, so let's do this. The first one is Trump's lawyer just rumbled with Fox News host, and look who it is. We're also going to go over sad. The New York Times actually sides with the leftist mob. Look who is the Islamic State has recruited. Breaking. The DNC was just sued in a class action for Seth Rich. This has to go viral. Look what state is going bankrupt for supporting sanctuary cities. Boom! Look what President Trump's attorney told the press this morning, which we're probably going to take that one and put it right next to the first one, right? And extremism experts are starting to worry about the left. And finally, we have a quick bonus that you can't not watch. It's very telling, let's put it that way. So, let's get right into this. Trump's lawyer just rumbled with a Fox News host, and look who it is. On Sunday, one of the President Trump's legal defense team members sparred with Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace. The Hill reported Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace sparred with Jay Sekulow, a member of President Trump's legal defense team, on Sunday over whether the president has become a target of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Sekulow originally denied that Trump had fallen under investigation, but later appeared to reverse that assertion, saying that he's being investigated for taking the action that Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General recommended him to take. You now said that he is being investigated, Wallace said. You just said, sir, you just said that he's being investigated. Let me be crystal clear so you completely understand. We have not received, nor are we aware of any investigation of the President of the United States, period, Sekulow responded. When Wallace pressed him on the apparent contradictions in his statement, Sekulow insisted that he had been clear that the president was not under investigation and accused the Fox host of putting words in my mouth. I do not appreciate you putting words in my mouth when I've been crystal clear that the president is not and has not been under investigation, Sekulow said. Wallace quipped that Sekulow seemed not to know whether the president was being probed or not. Well, you don't know that he's under investigation again, sir, Wallace said. You're right, Chris. I can't read the mind of the special prosecutor, Sekulow responded. Can you? Okay, well, good. Then we're in agreement, Wallace replied. You don't know whether he's under investigation or not. But I really hope he is. That's what Chris Wallace is pretty much saying. He's like, he may not be, but he may be. He may not be under investigation, but he may be. Yeah, he may be. I just want to... Boom. Look what President Trump's attorney told the press this morning. Okay. President Trump's attorney, Jay Sekulow, says President Trump is not under investigation for obstruction of justice on NBC's Meet the Press. He got pissed last night, I guess, or Sunday, and he came out this morning.
If this investigation is going to find that, and he knows he did nothing wrong, then he shouldn't be afraid of this investigation. It's being led by professionals, a guy like Robert Mueller, who is not a political guy. You know he's not a partisan guy. I'm just sort of curious, why doesn't the president embrace this investigation if he's innocent?
Because every day, the Washington Post and the New York Times are utilizing supposed leaked information about supposed investigations of the President of the United States. So his legal team and the President responds. But when you see a tweet, okay, or a utilization of social media, and the President has, I mean, his social media reach is over 100 million. A little bit more than probably are watching us today. I know you have good ratings, but reaches a lot of people. So that tweet takes, let's say, 15 seconds. This is not taking up the President of the United States' day. So he's responding to what he's seeing in the media in a way in which he thinks is appropriate to talk to those people that put him in office.
But again, you didn't answer the question. If the president is innocent, why is he afraid of this investigation?
I'll answer it.
He's not afraid of the investigation. There is no investigation. I want to be clear here. The tweet about the
There is an
investigation
investigation into what Russia did in the 2016 election.
And he told James Comey, when James Comey was still the FBI director, and James Comey testified to this, to continue that probe, find out what happened there. He's not worried about this, but there is not an investigation of the President of the United States, period.
Thank
Jay
you.
Sekulow, member of the President's legal.
Well, that's very good to know, right? Again, we thought he was under investigation for obstruction, and he's not. We're all being lied to. Now, here is why the president should be worried. Because I personally don't freaking trust Robert Mueller. He's best friends with Comey. Of course, right there, a normal human being would be worried that they're colluding against him. That's number one. Number two, there are 9 people on the council that's with the investigation as well. The first 4 that we looked at were all Democratic donors. Newt Gingrich just blasted them all today. He doesn't trust any of them. Robert Mueller, they're all in it together. So why should he trust that that's going to be a fair investigation? Whatever the hell your name is, you little dirty-looking freak. Why do they have... Who is this guy? He's Rachel Maddow's, like, idiot friend. Sad. The New York Times actually sides with the leftist mob, but I'm not surprised. The New York Times has sided with the leftist mob at Evergreen College. The New York Times offered a revisionist history of the ongoing crisis at Evergreen State College in Washington on Saturday, ignoring left-wing violence and smearing liberal professor Brett Weinstein above, who was a victim of the chaos. The Times, Anemona, Hartoklis, reported that the college had to hold its commencement 30 miles from campus at a rented baseball stadium where everyone had to pass through metal detectors. Here's explanation of why that came to pass, suggests conservative media are to blame for stirring up threats from the outside campus, and totally ignores the violent role of the left-wing activists on campus, some of whom have been patrolling campuses with baseball bats. She ignored critical details in the story, such as the fact that the campus police told Weinstein they could not protect him. Why? Because there's untrustworthy leftist shills. Hartoklis also sided with the critics of Professor Weinstein, who supported black students' efforts to draw attention to racial issues but refused to obey when they told white professors and students not to come to campus. She quoted a professor who was angry that she shared his dispute with the outside press, that he took this public, I feel this like a, I'm sorry, I'm killing this story. And I don't like the way, maybe it's me. She quoted a professor who was angry that he shares his dispute with outside press, that he took this public, I just feel like it's a breach of trust. Hartoklis also suggested Weinstein is acting out of greed, noting that he has a new blog offering his subscribers insight into evolution, civilization, and intolerance for a nominal fee, of course. Moreover, she did not quote any of Weinstein's supporters, but simply a quote from a parent whose daughter is opposed to him. Ellis Paragwani, a 1991 Evergreen graduate whose daughter, Melia, was graduating and planned to go to an ocean conservatory. Wow. Why is... I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I normally don't have this problem. Malaya and Professor Weinstein in her freshman year and liked his class. Right? You see how that was written? Malaya had Professor Weinstein in her freshman year and liked his class. Mr. Pagaragan said, but he added, my daughter is a person of color. She kind of takes it personal. The implication is that Weinstein is a racist, exactly the false charge lobbed by the campus mob. Wow, sorry about that, folks. Really, really sorry. But we got the whole point of that, right? Okay. Okay, look who the Islamic State has recruited. The Islamic State has reportedly recruited thousands of child soldiers in Iraq and Syria, and officials don't know what to do with them right now. They will kill the one sent by the foolish Mossad, a spy on the secrets of the Muhadan and the Muslims. Economist.com reported, when Omar returned home after 40 days in a boot camp run by Islamic State, he was obviously something had snapped. Once a quiet boy and a fan of SpongeBob, Omar, 12, had become very aggressive. He told his mother to stop wearing makeup, refused to greet her female friends, and became very angry when she tried to bathe him. Well, as a 12-year-old, I'd be angry too if he tried to bathe me mom. I'll give you that, but let's not get off the subject. He's obviously brainwashed. I was scared to wear a t-shirt in my own house, his mother, Amina, said. He told me things were forbidden, these things, in Islam. They washed his brain, she said. Omar died shortly after his last visit home, trained by ISIS as one of its Ingimasi. Sorry, I don't really speak good Muslim. Shock troops sent into battle, and with assault rifles and suicide vests. Omar was killed fighting Syrian government forces in the eastern city of Deir ez-Zor, not far from his home. 6 months ago, IS allowed his mother 15 minutes with her son's body before burying him in a grave that she was forbidden as a woman from visiting. Oh, snap. Look at them. They're putting 12-year-old, 13-year-olds into battle. Of course they were killed because they're 12. And then they told their mother, you can't see your son's grave. You're a woman. Amina's anguish is sharpened by her relationship with the man she blamed for her son's death, now a refugee in Turkey. She says her husband, who had become enamored with ISIS ideology shortly after the group stormed their area, encouraged Omar to join the extremists. He told me I should be happy when Omar died, that he was in paradise. Yeah, if you call a box 6 feet in the ground paradise, yeah, he's in paradise. She says, as tears slide down her face, it felt like someone had extracted my soul. The ultra-violent jihadists have recruited thousands of children in Iraq and Syria. Like Omar, many have been dispatched to the front lines to die. Others work as spies, bomb makers, cooks, or prison guards. In extreme cases, children have executed prisoners, sawing off their heads with knives or firing bullets into their skulls. Thousands more have been exposed in the group war ideology as ICE-sponsored schools. You know, Dems and leftists, I'm starting to see why you like ISIS so much. Yeah. No, I'm only freaking lying right now, you idiot. If you believe me. Stupid leftist, jerk, idiots, Antifa. The jihadists portray children as the future of their caliphate. Yeah, because there are a lot of kids and they're dumb and they believe anything you freaking tell them. And easy to brainwash, right? Yeah. Also easy to bully and tell them what to do. Gotcha. Who will ensure its survival? Yet the jihadists are sending more children to die than ever. Under the pressure from American-backed operations, ISIS territory in Iraq and Syria are shrinking. To replace the mounting toll of dead adult fighters, the extremists are recruiting more children. In January, 51 children blew themselves up in Mosul. In January, many more, will die in the battle for Syria city of Raqqa. That just begun. Pressed on the battlefield, military expediency has trumped iced dreams of nurturing the next generation of holy warriors. Still, many child soldiers will outlive the caliphate and will pose a security threat long after its demise. European intelligence services are worried. Children taught to build bombs and hate the West may find it easier than adults to slip aboard across the borders. You get it? You get it? Left Democrats, idiots, open borders are wrong. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you idiots. You're just morons. So it's easy for them to get across because they're little dreamers, right? Call you. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. I'll call you right back.
All right.
Okay. Let's get this done. I got a little bit of something important here to do, folks. Okay. We're knocking the hell out of Raqqa, so. The question is how to tackle this looming danger. One bleak option is to kill as many of the child soldiers as possible on the battlefield and imprison the rest. History suggests, however, that this turns prisons into breeding grounds for the next generations of militants. About 2,000 children already languish in Iraqi jails, accused of working with ICE. These detention centers are poorly equipped to cope with the radicalization of youngsters, far from receiving specialized care. Child detainees interviewed by the human rights groups say Iraqi service forces have tortured them, abused and abandoned them. These children will grow up to hate the state. The far better option is to try to rehabilitate, that's what I was saying, the child soldiers who survive, reschooled and given jobs. Children are less likely to rejoin armed groups, radicalize their peers, or create their own insurgent groups. The UN-led rehabilitation program in Sierra Leone, for instance, has been widely praised. But what sounds good in theory will also be difficult in practice. Many of the children will return to the communities whose members despise them for joining a group that butchered and plundered its way through their towns and villages. These children aren't victims. They have murdered our relatives and friends. They deserve death, said a rebel commander who fought ICE in Syria. Other children will refuse help, terrified of being arrested by Iraq security forces or killed by ICE for deserting. The many ways ICE recruits children will make rehabilitation programs even harder to design. Some have been snatched from orphanages or kidnapped from minority sects and egged on by peers. Others have been seduced by the group's promise of adventure, money, and power. Parents have set their children in return for food, cooking gas, and a monthly stipend of $200. Others, like Omar's father, because they believed in the ISIS ideology. The role played by families in the recruitment process is particularly damaging. So there's something mentally wrong with them in their brain to send your child in to be killed. Okay? So we need to look at that as well. In other conflicts, the parents of a child soldier have eased the transition to civilian life. In El Salvador, for example, 84% of former child fighters and their families were the most important factor in the reintegration, according to the Biomedica journal. But in Iraq and Syria, many families have times encouraged their children to join the militants. Some in the grisly belief that their child's death in battle clears their own path to heaven. It is tempting to see ICE use of children as unique among militant groups. In July 2015, a jihadist released the first video of a child beheading a captive, a pilot in the Syrian Air Force. In early 2016, a 4-year-old British boy whose mother brought him to Syria became the first European child to feature in an execution video. He was filmed pressing a button that blew up a car with 3 prisoners inside. In another video, boys race through the ruins of a castle, competing to see who can kill the most captives. Others have been photographed clutching severed heads, their fathers beaming with pride right next to them. I have to cut this one short because I have a very important phone call, but give me a moment, and I'm going to be finishing up with another video soon. Thank you for watching. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. Gee willikers. Golly gee. Thanks for watching.